Is there anyone else out there who enjoyed Family Ties during the 80s? I sure did. And I've got to say, I thought Mallory's boyfriend Nick, as played by Scott Valentine, was a hoot to watch on TV. But more on Scott in just a moment. First, let's talk about this classic TV sitcom for just a moment. Family Ties ran on NBC for 7 seasons from 1982 to 1989. On the show, the parents, played by Meredith Baxter Birney and Michael Gross, were from the flower power generation. And their children, well, let's just say they weren't. In particular, Michael J. Fox's Alex P. Keaton was a staunch conservative, which led to all sorts of comedic hijinks. That said, as time went on, the differences between the parents and their children gave way to more thoughtful stories that really fleshed out these characters and made us care for each of them. Which is why I think we were all concerned when Mallory brought home this guy. However, as we got to know Nick a little better, we all discovered that what he lacked in intelligence, well, he made up with in heart. Interestingly, we almost didn't see Scott Valentine in this role due to the fact that he had been seriously injured in a road rage incident a few years earlier. Believe it or not, after an exchange of words with a guy in a giant truck, the agitated driver chased Scott down, who was not in a vehicle by the way, and ran over him, dragging him for a couple of blocks. The doctor said he might not ever walk again. But Scott was tenacious, and as we saw in Family Ties, the man was not only able to grunt out monosyllabic responses, but he was able to amble around the set on his own 2 feet. Scott's character on Family Ties was so popular that the network toyed with the idea of spinning off Nick into his own show. In fact, they were so committed to the idea that 3 different pilots were developed, with the last one, titled The Art of Being Nick, actually airing and doing very well in the ratings. That said, for whatever reason, the network decided not to move forward with the show, which, at the end of the day, was probably a good thing. Because that allowed Julia Louis-Dreyfus to move on to a little show called Seinfeld. Can you imagine that show with a different actress as Elaine? I certainly can't. Anyway, if you are curious, you can watch the pilot episode of The Art of Being Nick right here on YouTube. Well, it's available at the time of making this video. Things come and go on YouTube, so no guarantees. If you do want to see it, I'd watch it sooner instead of later. Around the same time as the proposed spin-off from Family Ties, Scott also appeared in the romantic horror comedy My Demon Lover, which was actually a pretty fun movie, although it wasn't the breakout hit that I'm sure he was hoping it would be. The next thing that I remember Scott showing up in was an episode of Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman, as a variation of the classic comic book villain Metallo. Looking at Scott's IMDb page, it does seem like he stayed fairly busy with various television guest appearances during the 90s. So the last thing that I really remember Scott in was the 2001 TV series Black Scorpion, which was based on the Roger Corman B-movie series. So where is Scott now? What exactly happened to the feller who overcame tremendous obstacles to bring Family Ties' Nick Moore to life? Well, shortly after Black Scorpion, Scott made a huge career change, a 180, and leaped headfirst into the world of big business and high finance. You know, I've got to chuckle a bit that the guy who played Mallory's big-hearted but empty-headed boyfriend is in reality one of the sharpest knives in the drawer. According to Wikipedia, Scott works with an investment firm that focuses on renewable and sustainable energy. Pretty darn impressive, if you ask me. Not too long ago, Scott also reunited with his former Family Ties castmates to relive the good times. Watching this video, which you can find right here on YouTube as well, is an absolute delight. It was great to see everyone, including Michael J. Fox, getting along so well. It seemed like a bunch of old friends just getting together to catch up. Yep, all of the egos were checked at the door, and it was just so great to witness. And it was for a good cause. The event itself was put together to support all of the wonderful services provided by the not-for-profit Actors Fund. So there you go. End of the day, Scott has had his moment in the sun, and it seems like he has successfully transitioned to a life that's a little less glitzy, but equally rewarding. Here's one final shot from Black Scorpion. Scott's character on that show was a detective named Steve Rafferty. He was kind of the Steve Trevor to the heroine of the show, Black Scorpion. So do you remember Scott Valentine? And if so, what show or movie did you enjoy him in most? please share your thoughts in the comments section. And while you're at it, I'd love a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and I would be absolutely honored if you would consider subscribing to my channel. I talk about music, movies, and television, mostly from the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. You know, the good stuff. But most importantly, and as always, thank you so much for watching.